All right, good evening, guys. Ken at Tortoise Capital Nightly Strategy Podcast for May 3rd, 2023, Fed Day. So I'm not able to sketch on this for some reason. Thank you, Microsoft. So we're just going to narrate it. I think you can see the cursor. So we'll give that a try. All right, Alcoa, this is all on 30 minutes. Alcoa was no trade today in anticipation of the Fed. AI, we were short one from yesterday. It failed to fail and came back and hit the PSAR flip, so we just scratched and reduced risk before the Fed. Caterpillar, we initiated the SSC yesterday, which was really a COTA 2 style entry. It held up really well, and then the summer rolled over, and when it came through, the dragon rolled over. That's like an owl exit and coincided with the PSAR for about 3R. No overnight risk. Cliff, yesterday we took the gift of 2. Today it peaked and then started to collapse. We took a 1, 2, 3 entry because all the metals were weak today. And we held that short all the way through to the end, and we're holding about 2R as it went from summer to the spring. CVS Pharmacy. So yesterday we had a nice short in cash. This morning it gapped down large and gave us a collapsing dragon entry at the gap down opening and a standard risk box. It just blew right straight to the 69 and a quarter, and then halfway back up the stack I just had to take the gift of about 3R. It raised up and then started to fail again, so just put the trade back on, and now we're holding about 1R overnight on that roller coaster. The fact that it was so decisive in the downward move and blew through the previous resistance levels and made a new 30-day and 10-day low made me inclined to hold that one short. Dish Network was no trade. Devon Energy was, we had gone long at the SSC yesterday near the close and then got smoked for a 2R adverse gap, so we just cashed that one and stayed out of it. Electronic Arts, I had thought about this yesterday at the PSAR flip, elected not to take it, ended up doing nothing today except closing very poorly. I missed that short opportunity. If it continues to get weak tomorrow, I'll get short because it will have violated that swing low. Emerging markets, yesterday we had a 2-position short which we closed at or near the open. I thought about the long on the SSC here, which is also a kind of a COTA 2. I just elected not to take it on a Fed day, and there we are. Still not letting me draw. Okay. Noted. Ethereum. So this is the one that I boloed the other day. I missed the indicated exit, but then yesterday had the zero state presence of mind to do a 1, 2, 3 entry. It came back through our indecision zone and closed well. So now we're holding 2 positions with about 1R on the first one and about 2R on the second one, and it closed pretty well. And weakness in the U.S. makes me inclined to stay with this one. So Ethereum on the long side. Don't do that at home. But in terms of full accountability, there it is. This was Mexico yesterday on the COTA 2 entry at the PSAR flip, standard risk, holding about 3R here. And then the RL10 was rolling over, and I wanted to reduce overnight risk and exited. And this thing went and got really weak in the last hour. I will look at that as an opportunity to initiate intraday shorts tomorrow. Brazil was a 3-bagger yesterday, 3 positions, and covered to be flat. Missed the opportunity to get long here. And even though it got into the summer, I just wanted the Fed day to be over. And we'll catch up with that one tomorrow in the usual way. Intel, we were short one from 2 days ago. It gapped up like an R against us, and so I wanted to preserve one R and took it, and had no will to trade that into the Fed. International paper, we closed the short yesterday and we're flat. IYR, same thing, no trades today. KRE, however, this one was interesting because yesterday we had the stop and reverse for the swing, and then 2 days ago, I should say, and then yesterday, big gap down, broke through the collapsing dragon. We put 3 turbo intraday on it, covered those 3 here, maintained this one at the close. I reinitiated one and then a second one here, and now we're holding 2 positions on that weakness, and I'm thinking banks look out below. McDonald's, though, after all the smoke had cleared, we reinstituted one long from here, and then cashed it for a micro loss as it broke through the belly of the dragon, and that feels like it's done. Let's see what we got tomorrow, though, but this is going to be an SSC entry rather than a COTA 2 because it made a second lower low. So the gild is off the lily on this one, and it's back to normal trading. Merck, on the other hand, we had 2 initially about 4 days ago. Yesterday added one at the PSAR flip on a K2. Today it rewarded with a nice run up to 119.50 and then rolled over in an orderly manner. And I just felt like it was time to get out of there. And that was about 7 on the first position, 5 on this one, and about 3 on this one. So that's about a 15R swing over 5 days. Really pleased with the way that one unfolded. Marijuana, no trade. Clean energy, we closed the double short from yesterday and the day before. At today's open, we had a gap up and worked against us. No appetite to trade against the Fed. Rivian missed the 2-day SSC move, and it's now testing that 5-day high again in the previous hump of the RL10. So that one may still be in play tomorrow. The S&P, it was sideways. The reaction against the Fed was negative. If you were trading that one, the indicated time to be short would be here on the PSAR flip with standard risk. And remember, if it blows through this thick red line, then it's look out below because that's just below 408 and the low of the day. And we'll be ready to smash that short tomorrow. I completely missed the 2-day move here in treasuries. We'd thought about this one, decided not to take it, didn't want to re-engage, and couldn't take the first trade. There was no reason to get in yesterday, and I didn't want to trade treasuries in the face of the Fed. So there it is. Tesla, no trade. I'm off my fanboy status. And then U.S. Steel, we closed the long from the SSC. Thought about going short, but I had enough overnight exposure, didn't want to go any further. So that was today's swing trade. Pretty pleased with the way things unfolded, and taking into account the extra intraday volatility of the Fed, took my opportunities to exit positions with gains and to take some opportunity shorts. Let's look at the sniper trade of the day. So this is U.S. Steel. The blue box is the OR3 from yesterday's close. The second bar broke down below, so we initiated the standard short for our intraday to get well started. We just take that OR3, standard risk. It immediately worked against us, so I took the 1R loss, stop and reverse, same risk, and cashed about 2R on the win to the upside. Took the COTA 2 long, micro loss, stop and reverse now on the collapsing dragon, because now we have a lower high, and it's going through the belly of the RL10, so that's a sort of a standard play. Take a half an hour loss and then reinitiate. The short side worked. We cashed about 1.5. Stayed with the short because of COTA 2 to the downside. Cashed about 2 more R there, and then it was Fed time, so we stayed out of it. And then at the after the Fed announcement was over, made a new low of the day after 3, took an opportunity trade to cash about another 1.5. So all told, that was about 6 in U.S. steel and closed very poorly. All the metals were bad today. When we look at the tail of the tape, the S&P right here in the middle at 0.7, and I sorted this by percent winners today. Intel was the anomaly with a really strong move in tech and semis, whereas Texas Instruments was down, NVIDIA was then down big. All of the metals got smashed today. Cliff, Alcoa, U.S. Steel, and Devon Energy was down. Diamonds and the Qs, slightly worse than the S&P. EEM marginally better than the S&P. Treasuries and the Russell, only bright spots for the U.S. Markets right there. Let's take a quick look at the traders today. Just a handful, just a couple to look at today on Fed Day. Most everybody took the chance to stay out of it. Let's see. Let me pull Steve in real quick here. So he's trading. This is a crypto tethered on the U.S. at Binance. Yeah, he was busy with managing routines, and he would normally be setting this up as a break of the channel. That's really an SSC breakout of the river to the upside. There's the first shot, a pullback, and then a recovery. So I would treat that as a COTA 2. Yes, COTA 2, correct. Standard risk for him down to the PSAR. Leg 1, leg 2, and then a nice exit here with about 2R in hand. I don't think that's so bad. You see 1, you plan for 2, you hope to get 3, but you don't need the third one to get the win on this one. So no, I think you're fine on that one. I don't see that as a problem. Yeah, you'll notice that this breakout here is going to coincide with a summer. Now you're not using the standard MACD that we use 10, 30, and 5. And we put that on the RL10 instead of on price. But for the indicator that you have, that's a pretty good moment of entry right here because you have it just breaking above the 0 line. So it's just entering the summer after a long period of grinding. The COTA 2 entry, notice that is a summer, fall, and beginning to be summer. So that really is a nice play. I'm pleased to see you didn't chase. You might have tried a first surge, a pullback, and then a recovery. There was a possible entry in here because you're well out of that channel. But I don't mind you taking that one there, and cash in 2R is pretty good shape. Let's see, this is who had this one? Okay, so this is Damien. And he's working on, let's see, where are we at here? ETF Trust. Trying to see the time frame on this one. That's 5-minute bars, as I can tell from down here now. He's got a put here. So call up, put down. That means he's making money on this one. Short on basically a collapse below the doji, a rejection of the mechanical breakout, and then a cover after 5 bars down, and makes a 58% profit on his option. I'm not opposed to that whatsoever. Hamad, I like the river breakout. There's your risk. Takes a micro loss here. The re-entry is fine. I think you could also take that. Yeah, that's about where you want to take it. And he wants to buy back some of that. If you trust the PSAR all the way through there, you got a one winning trade. Note the one I want you to get is after the Fed and that Z3 super pinch right here, and you have a series of higher lows. And when you get the range expansion, somewhere in here is a tradable move for you. But you're getting close to the Fed time, so maybe that's good to stand aside. A lot of trading in the chop of the river here. And, notice that the RL10 never gets out of the PSAR all the way down. This is a good entry. I like the exit here instead of there. I mean, if you stop and reverse and go long, that's what I mean. Then you take the exit here. That's your stop and reverse, and we should be long inside that. Diamonds, same thing here. Short and covered, short again and covered. And now I feel like 2 strikes and you felt like you didn't want to strike out. But they all look the same leaving the river. And now you got, this is the indicated re-entry as a Kata 2 and pays off. The Kata 2 pays off in here too. So let's take a look at that pattern a little more carefully. This is Brian. There's a cut. Now I want you to notice the RL10s improve right here. So this is actually a Kata 2 entry when it crosses the Bollinger Band mean, or when it leaves the river. All of those are preferred to taking the Z3 breakout. I'd rather see you at really on the PSAR break or leaving the river, and then this one pays off, even if you just use a simple PSAR flip. I like the re-entry. That's about as quick as you could get out of this, and that should be the short. Because the river and the dragon and the RL30 have all rolled over. At the PSAR break, you've got an owl entry short, which pays off massively, but you do get a nice one here. I like that short, and I think that's a scratch, or it gets paid a micro, and nearly a scratch. Just a lot of chop on a Fed day. Don't work so hard on the Fed day, and we've seen Brian's here. All right, I still got some work to do on the reports. The same thing that was giving me grief on the markup is giving me grief completing the reports. I should have them done in about 15 minutes. Got some good written material coming to you on Patreon as part of the book that we're finishing up. And it takes the form of standard question and answers that are summarized from 15 years of our live trading workshops and the research weekends, kind of hitting the top 20 questions that traders typically ask, and then the responses that come from the consensus of our successful traders, the guys that have been able to stick with it and adapt it to their needs. How do they answer the questions that traders typically ask rather than me? So we're trying to put that together as a community of practice book that describes what our collective experience has been, and it looks pretty good, if I say so myself. So more work on that coming. That's everything I got for you today. We'll get this published and processed and catch you tomorrow.